Team, we're back for another sparring breakdown video. We have Mateus on the right, he's the blue belt, versus Steve on the left, who is a white belt. Steve's been training for on and off for probably about 18 months. You know, he's kind of one of those guys that comes in and does some jiu-jitsu and then life gets in the way, and then he comes back to it. So let's kind of speed this up so we get them moving around a little bit. All right, so we'll start off with some grip fighting, see where this takes us. But yeah, Steve and Mateus, well, we'll have a good matchup. They both kind of equal in skill, and they're both kind of those guys that have busy lives that kind of doesn't allow them to train jiu-jitsu super regularly. So, you know, they have some good skills, especially with how much life gets in the way for them. Nice scissor sweep for Mateus here. Both these guys kind of start playing from their side here. We see Steve kind of crunch himself in closer and start moving on top. Steve now looking to attack from mount. I think Mateus actually has half. It's hard to see from the camera angle here. We see Steve looking for a key lock. His positioning's quite off, and we see Mateus do a good job bridging him over, coming back up into the closed guard. Again, Steve working here from a collar and sleeve grip. Mateus doing a good job getting grips on the pants here as he tries to open. You see him slide that knee underneath to create a wedge. If he can effectively wedge with that knee, he's going to be able to pop this guard open. We'll see if he can get the leverage he needs to do that. We're seeing him drop that elbow on Steve's bottom leg. So now he's in a position where he can start stepping over, and that's what we see. We see him start to come through for a knee cut pass. Steve keeping him at bay with that cross grip. It's kind of helping him create some space here. I'd like to see Steve start to sit up here to move out. We'll see what happens though. Again, Mateus still pressuring here. And that collar grip really kind of saving Steve here as he starts moving into Omoplata and sits up and grabs the waist. Now, I remember seeing this in class as Steve started moving to his Omoplata. We should get some good transitions here. We see Steve spin behind and start moving into Omoplata crucifix. He's a little low on the arm, but advances high to the shoulder. This should give him the control he needs now. He can kind of start coming back on top, and we'll see if he can get the submission. Again, Mateus rolls, kicks the camera, and we reset Omoplata again as we come on top here. And we'll see if Steve can manage to get the finish here. He's in good position. The triangle on the legs might be making things a little bit hard for him, but he still might be able to come up and get it. We'll see what happens here. You see Steve making a lot of little adjustments to stay tight on the shoulder. And his weight drives forward. Again, Mateus rolling. Steve doing a great job controlling that shoulder, keeping his position tight here. We'll see if he can get the angle to finish. Again, very close in position here. And he gets the tap. So yeah, that's a really nice transitional sequence from Steve here. So I want to break that down. We'll go back to the entry, and I'll give you guys some of the things that I saw that made this happen and what could have helped finish this faster. So yeah, starts pretty simple. Just starts off with like a collar and sleeve situation. Sorry, I'm going to go back just a little bit, guys. I just want to give you my point of view as best I can so you guys can see the entry. And we can see pretty much from here, as Steve comes in, this is what's allowing him to go to collar and sleeve. From the collar and sleeve is he pushing off the hip. He had the collar grip, and this is what's allowing him to cut the angle here where he can start sitting up in Omoplata. Now, Steve's doing a good job here. He's got his legs crossed. This is good for control, and he's got this hand over the back. The hand over the back, I think, is the key to success here in Omoplata. If you want to be successful at finishing, you got to get that hand over the waist. You see Steve already starting to raise his level here. He's pushing his hand in the mat. All he needs to do now is extend his legs out, and he can sit up. So we'll watch Steve kind of do that here in the next sequence. So we see him get the level change where he raises up. One of the things that's making it hard for Steve to sit up right now is that he's keeping his legs crossed. You see this from a lot of people when they're first learning about Omoplata. You guys don't need to keep your legs crossed. In the action of sitting up, you can actually uncross your feet and then go back to crossing when you go back up to finish. So it's this lock here is actually hindering Steve from finishing Omoplata in this particular instance. So this is part of the reason he's having a hard time getting the angle here to finish. You can see he's on both butt cheeks. I would like to see him get off into his side and drive into Mateus. If he's off to one side and he's on one hip, can drive that weight into Mateus, his pressure is going to be a lot better, and it's going to be much easier for him to sit up to finish. So essentially, Steve's own hips are blocking him now. And this is where we start getting some cool scrambles. We see Mateus do a good job sitting up, and this is where Steve starts moving into Omoplata crucifix, which is a very popular position, made popular by Clark Gracie. It's something I teach here in my academy. I'm a big fan of it. And we see Steve with that underhook kind of coming back up to get another chance to finish, and he rolls again, ending back in the Omoplata crucifix. Again, resetting Omoplata, coming back to top position. So Steve's doing a really great job of chasing the submission and the position here. We'll see, I think he ends up on Omoplata crucifix one more time, and I'll break down what he kind of needs to do to finish from there. Again, I think these videos are a great example of just showing how Jiu-Jitsu is a game of inches. You know, slight adjustments on your angles, just in very small adjustments can make all the difference if you get the finish or not. And again, we see him kind of trying to come up here and roll to Omoplata crucifix again. So like this positioning actually right now is very good. He's got Mateus' shoulder controlled with his grips. This is exactly what I'd look for. The only thing he's doing is he's keeping his feet crossed. It's hard to see from the camera angle, but I can tell by his positioning. He's staying very flat on his back. So what Steve needs to do, left leg stays in position because that has the Omoplata. I'd like to see his right hand drop down to control the wrist of Mateus, which is behind his back. And I'd like to see him put this foot, we can see the knee, I'd like to see him put this foot on the ground so we can start angling his body into Mateus. So essentially, what Steve needs to do is bring this shoulder off the mat and scoot away from Mateus. And if he can scoot out in that direction, it's going to crank down on his shoulder, and that would give him the tap from this position. So he's very close to finishing. He's just got to angle out and drive his body back in towards Mateus. So positioning-wise, he's in a very good position. He just needs to make a little bit of effort to get on his side, and that's what would finish the shoulder lock. But again, even though he couldn't finish from there, he comes right back to the traditional position and gets his finish. So really nice Omoplata transition from Steve. Steve's kind of one of those guys I've been working with for a while that's like on the cusp of getting his blue belt, and seeing scrambles like this and control like this from him are things that are definitely helping him move in that direction quickly. The rest is all kind of fundamentals, you know? Like I like to see my guys kind of start to build some specialization in one position or another, and it's nice to see Steve's Omoplata game growing. We see Steve looking to pass on the outside. He gets swept by Mateus. And we see these guys go back to their feet. Both these guys like to play guard, so you see a bit more guard pulling from them. And again, ending up on this position where they're both on their side. Kind of running out of space here, hard to see what's going on, but we're just seeing Steve again in the open guard here, kind of keeping Mateus at bay, not letting him get close. Maybe we'll see them enter some straight ankle lock positions here. It looks like that might be the case. And well, yeah, we'll just kind of see how this plays out as this progresses. Again, hard to see because of the camera angle, but we'll see what happens as we go here. We see Steve looking to isolate the arm here, maybe looking for a 50-50 arm bar, or simply just trying to build his base back up. I think these guys have limited knowledge in these positions, so it's going to be a bit scrappy, and yeah, and we'll see what happens if they can get up in these positions and find top position. Mateus doing a good job scrambling on top, driving in for a double, and moving into side control. So we'll see if Mateus can get Steve back now. Nice hip switch from Mateus here. Steve looking to control grips. Mateus pops up to the on belly, has a nice collar grip. We'll see if he can get a choke going. Again, nice positioning for Mateus here, but he needs to make something happen. I think he went a little too chill there. I think he had a good opportunity and then stopped. But yeah, we'll see. Steve's kind of overextending that arm closest to Mateus now as Mateus moves into the mount. Again, now that cross collar grip's becoming a lot more dangerous. He's going to have an opportunity for cross choke. We'll see if Mateus can get that first collar grip in a little bit deeper. Right now it's a bit shallow. Steve with a strong bridge, trying to move in the top position, or trying to move out of bottom position rather, as Mateus does a good job staying on top here. Those wide posts are what allowing him to maintain the mount right now. Kind of beating Steve's stiff arm and bridge. Again, another bridge from Steve. One of the things, and I see this from a lot of beginners, is that not committing to the bridge. Again, these are things out of Steve I need to see him clean up before I can give him a blue belt, you know? Like, I need to see good fundamental escapes, Something important for me is my guys can get out of those bad positions with good technique. And even if they're failing, I want to see them fail with good technique. Mateus just doing a great job controlling on top now. He's running out of time though, so we'll see if he can get the submission before time expires. Nice elbow push from Steve here. He can use that definitely and comes on top. And again, these guys getting close to the fence here. We've still got plenty of time though, so we'll see if we can get a submission. Pace is slowing a bit. We've seen Steve try to choke from the closed guard again. Another habit that needs to get broken. Not something I definitely teach in my classes. We never want to try to choke someone when we're inside the guard. It's very risky. It's overextending yourself. I would say it's bad jiu-jitsu, just bad habits that sometimes people make. I think it's easy in the beginning to confuse closed guard for mount and stuff like that, but as I got my guys approaching blue belt and stuff, they need to understand you can't choke someone from inside your guard. It's not good tactics. On a rare occasion, you can pull it off, but it's definitely not something you want to try to build a game around, you know. Nice little sweep. And again, both these guys just kind of complacent, willing to play guard. I come from a older generation. If you sweep, you got to get on top right away. It's something we really emphasized in practice. You don't want to just like knock someone to your butt and then keep playing your guard. Nail check from Steve. And Steve doing a good job controlling the head here. That collar grip, keeping Mateus away, not letting him line up for his pass. And Mateus starts to circle. So just coming around the outside, doing a good job controlling Steve's bottom leg here. And now we'll see if he can get the pass from here. He's got a good like double leg position on the legs. See if he can move into a folding pass. There he goes. He's got to get his head up a little bit higher here to improve his position. And we see Mateus start to advance into the mount. So another opportunity here for Mateus to finish. Steve doing a good job to keep him away. These guys running out of space. Good reset there. You never want to get bridged onto the cement there. Again, we're training outdoors. We got open gym, so we got to be careful with our space. Definitely don't have load-bearing walls, so we got to be careful and mindful of our mat space. Again, Steve bridging out here, moving into top position. Steve looking to control. Again, going for his little cross choke here. This is definitely a habit that needs to get fixed. Yeah, perfect example here from Mateus. That's exactly why you don't want to go for those chokes from close guard. It leaves you very, very vulnerable to armbar. Very close from Mateus. I think Steve just managed to pull his arm out, and time expired. So yeah, let's go back just a little bit here, because that was a nice like thing for I think everyone, for beginners to understand. Here is like, you don't want to do this cross choke right when you're inside the guard. So let's just let this play out, and you'll see why it left Steve so overextended. You see that like this collar grip is just already putting Steve's arm across the center line of Mateus's body. It's not going to take much here for Mateus just to pivot off the hip and get an opportunity to attack the armbar. So again, here comes the cross choke, right? So his arms are already crossed, making things easy for him. So this is why he's able to pivot out here and attack the arm. So again, positioning, like Steve just put himself in bad positioning there, which was what allowed this to happen. So so check this out. This is the reason why Mateus lost the armbar, is because he controlled the wrong arm. He's attacking Steve's left arm with his body positioning here. Steve's arm's here. This is the one he wants to be attacking. But instead, he grabbed the top, he grabbed the right arm. So he'd want to be transitioning to Omoplata here instead of arm lock. So just a little tactical error there. You see that from like white and blue belts, especially in their like first 2 years where they make that mistake. And that's essentially why Mateus lost his opportunity for the armbar. So Mateus, if you're watching, make sure you focus on the right arm on your armbar attack. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I got lots of sparring breakdown videos for you guys to watch. If you've been enjoying this, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. We want to keep this channel alive, and I appreciate all of you guys watching. Thank you.